Calvin, for starters, just what do you like about Holmes, and how long have you sort of had your eye on him?
Well, he's been a pretty prominent prospect for the last couple of years, but I think the jump he took in skill and making a three-point shot took him to a different level as a prospect. And I think I just like guys that have to carry the load for their team, and they won a lot. He played many different defenses that tried to shut him down, and he has a lot of experience under pressure situations. Can play both sides of the ball. I just talked out to two people and told them probably I think his defense will be better at this level. I think he had to carry a heavy load for that team and had to worry about getting in foul trouble. So there'd be times when you watch, whether live or on tape, where you're like, all right, can he really guard? But I expect that to be better at this level when he has less responsibility. And I think offensively he just has so many outs as a player. He can pass, he can shoot, he can catch in tight spaces and make plays and make the little touch shots that Joker makes. So I think the guy just has a lot of game.
How do you kind of see his development playing out? Is he sort of a guy with some plug-and-play potential for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, kind of talked about a good amount over the last year, but I do feel like you have to try to find the edge. And I don't think all rookies are made the same. I think you have the 18, 19-year-old guys that may or may not have more upside, and then you have some other guys that, are accomplished, they do a lot, and for all intents and purposes may be more ready for high-pressure NBA games than some guys on NBA rosters that have been in the league for 2 or 3 years. So in that sense, I think Duran's one of those guys, right? Has a high IQ, knows how to play in different styles and different scenarios. So I think he has a very good chance of being a plug-and-play guy.
How critical was it to have depth behind Joe for figuring out, the heavy
Yeah, no, I think it was very important to add more athleticism and skill and IQ. I think that long term Duran has a chance to be a starting NBA 4. I think the league has become a little bit more physical. They're allowing a little bit more contact on closeouts. And the more you start to see that, we witnessed in the Minnesota series, it's a very physical game. So in that style of NBA, I think he's a 4 all day. I played in the era where there was Rasheed Wallace and Joe Smith and Cliff Robinson and all these different guys that were 6'10", 6'11". Probably there was a period a few years ago where it would have been harder for some of those guys to play in this NBA where closeouts were so hard to guard because you couldn't touch the guy. But I think where the NBA is going right now, I think he's 100% a 4.
Calvin, he shot, 14.3% from three as a freshman and got up to like 39% as a junior last year. So I guess how real do you think that improvement is from 3, and how important will that be to his future?
Yeah, I mean, you always like to try to find similar players that shoot a similar way. And as soon as I started watching Duran shoot, I felt like it was like Al Horford. Wide base, very consistent release, that shoots kind of a set shot from deep. And, I've seen Al make a million shots in the NBA.
Kyle, it's been well documented by you and just in the picks that you've made over the course of these past few years. You've wanted to go for guys that are older, wanted to go for guys that can play right away. Just how ready do you think he'll be from day one, Duran? Do you think he'll be ready to step in?
There's always a learning curve. I think, for a guy like that had a heavy offensive load and can do a lot of different things offensively, it'll be about what he's doing on the glass, what he's doing as a rim protector, what he's doing, defensively in general. That'll get his earn him time on the court, especially in our system with all these good players. So it's going to be an adjustment, and when he gets the opportunity, he has to take advantage of it. Has to take care of his body and try to stay healthy. There's all those different factors that come into breaking through, but I think he has the mind, the skill, and the body to play right away.
Cal, you guys have worked so hard to build the culture that you have here. How do you think he'll fit in from a culture standpoint, and what's his personality like off the floor?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of the most appealing things to me. I think, we value character a lot. And this guy's, talking to Coach Grant, one of the best he's had in college at wherever he's been at, right? Just works, is humble, loves to be in the gym, is going to keep his head down and basically just try to get better every single day. So it's I like a lot of our other young guys that we brought in here, so I think it'll be a great fit.
I guess the big question in my mind is how confident are you that Michael Malone will give him a chance to get meaningful minutes to learn as a rookie?
Well, I think the onus will be on Duran in Summer League to play well and to show the coaches that he can play. And I think if he can play, he'll get a chance to play. So I think more and more we're starting to understand the realities of the CBA, and it's going to be hard to make a lot of moves when you have one of the most expensive starting lineups, one of the best starting lineups. So I think you have to get value out of these guys, and hopefully they'll get a shot to play.
I read a quote from Duran that one of the players he looked up to was Nikola Jokic. And I wonder how big a factor was the fact that he can function in the pick and pop, pick and roll kind of an offense and really stretch a defense from the outside.
Yeah, I think it was an important factor. I think him being a polished basketball player was a big part of the appeal. I think he'd be great next to Aaron Gordon. I think you can play him at the 5 with Michael Porter Jr. I think you could probably play him with Nikola. I think he can play with just about every single good player we have on our roster. So the ability to play with different guys on our team that we value and on the court a lot is going to give them a chance to be on the court right away.
Calvin, you mentioned the starting lineup and having all of those guys together, having a very expensive starting lineup. We've talked about the limitations that the CBA has really presented. Just what has that changed your perspective or kind of shaped your perspective on making sure to retain KCP versus different pathways that are obviously limited even if you lose them?
Yeah, I think we have to look at everything, and the nature of free agency is he's unrestricted, so we can try to bring him back, and if he doesn't want to come back or choose option to go somewhere else, that's his prerogative, so we'll have to work with that. But I think we're prepared to plug and play, so to speak. I think when you look at some of the teams that have been good in the past, they have to find a way to replace 4th, 5th starters, 6 men off the bench, and still keep rolling. It would be nice if he's back. They have a lot of continuity together, but I think, and all the stuff I've looked at with lineup stuff and everything, Christian Brown's one of the best net rating guys in the league, as is KCP. So I think if he's a step into the starting lineup, probably projected, I think, we'll be okay if KCP doesn't return.
Calvin, you traded up a couple picks and a couple second-round picks to get Duran Holmes. Just what was the thinking there in making sure, I assume, you were going to just get your guy?
Yeah, I mean, there was rumors that were promised for a long time, and, I've contended that we liked Duran. Wasn't necessarily a promise, but, once he got into the 20s and there was a chance to get him, we wanted to go get our guy, essentially, right? There was a lot of potential landmines between 22 and our pick. So I think, especially having a division rival in front of us that probably, values the guy too. So, I think it was just important for us to get ahead and get our guy.
Just was curious if you guys have kind of looked at Justin Holiday and DeAndre Jordan both as free agents, and sort of if you guys are looking at potentially re-signing them or going separate ways in free agency.
Yeah, both of those guys were big-time contributors, and I think DeAndre in particular has been here the last 2 years. He has a championship with us. I think he's kind of taken on the role of Udonis Haslam type guy. So I think we would like to bring DeAndre back, and also Justin, he was so good for us in the playoffs and such a good guy in the locker room. We'd like to take a look at that too. But You know, it just has to, we have 15 roster spots, and, you know, can't put 16 guys on, so we're gonna have to make some tough decisions and see how it plays out.
Just one more over here. 2 days for the draft. Obviously, you guys trade 56, so you don't necessarily have a pick tomorrow. Do you expect any major things to happen tomorrow for the team, or are you basically done?
Well, we got to monitor the draft and see who slips through. You know, probably have, I think, roughly like 4 second-rounders left to move, and one that's like very, very heavily protected. I don't really count as one, so 4 and a half second-rounder. So I don't think it would be wise to try to play around and get back in the draft and do something. So I don't anticipate us doing anything tomorrow.
Thank you,
All right. Cheers.